Hello students, today we are going to start our first chapter. This chapter is from your first flight book and the name of the chapter is A Letter to God written by G.L. Fuentes. Before you read this chapter, they say faith can move mountains, but what should we put our faith in? This is the question the story delicately poses. Lencho is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? Think what your answers to these questions would be and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. Friends, the story A Letter to God revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. The story is set in a Latin American country. Lencho, who is a farmer, who is the protagonist of our story, he writes a letter to God seeking help from the Almighty after discovering his entire corn crop destroyed by a devastating hailstorm. Although his wishes get fulfilled partially, if not completely, he is ungrateful in the end and questions the honesty and modesty of the postmasters who actually helped him with money anonymously without giving any name in the name of a god. So, Lencho demands help from God of 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? To know this question's answer, we have to go through this chapter. So let us begin this chapter. Hello students, today we are going to start our first chapter. This chapter is from your first flight book and the name of the chapter is A Letter to God written by G.L. Fuentes. Before you read this chapter, they say faith can move mountains, but what should we put our faith in? This is the question the story delicately poses. Lencho is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? Think what your answers to these questions would be and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. Friends, the story A Letter to God revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. The story is set in a Latin American country. Lencho, who is a farmer, who is the protagonist of our story, he writes a letter to God seeking help from the Almighty after discovering his entire corn crop destroyed by a devastating hailstorm. Although his wishes get fulfilled partially, if not completely, he is ungrateful in the end and questions the honesty and modesty of the postmasters who actually helped him with money anonymously without giving any name in the name of a god. So, Lencho demands help from God of 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? To know this question's answer, we have to go through this chapter. So let us begin our chapter. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn, dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his field intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. In this paragraph, crest it means top of a hill, dotted it means full of, downpour it means heavy rain, shower it means light rain, intimately it means closely. So in this paragraph, Lencho, who is a farmer, he lived on the only house that was there on the top of a hill. The hill was low heighted. From there, a river and a ready to harvest cornfield were visible. The field belonged to the Lencho and he had the utmost confidence that the harvest would reap great profits. The only thing that he awaited was rainfall. In this hope, he spent an entire morning gazing at the sky in the northeast directions from where a drizzle was expected to shower on his field. Drizzle, it means drop of a rain. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, "Yes, God willing." The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, "Come for dinner." It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are 5s." So in this paragraph, exclaimed means cry out suddenly in surprise. It means strong emotion. Here the man Lencho, while looking at the sky, confidently tells his wife that they are going to have a rain shower, to which the lady replies by saying, "Only if everything happens as they hope and expect." The elder children were working at the field and the younger ones were playing near the house when Lencho's wife calls everyone for dinner. It is during that time drops of rain begin to fall, hereby proving the farmer's predictions to be true. The wind was pleasant and clouds could be seen approaching from the northeast sky. Lencho goes out of the house to take pleasure in feeling the droplets on his body. He refers to the drizzle as coins. He refers to the raindrop as a coin. Large droplets, it means large drop of rain being equivalent to 10 cents and the smaller ones are 5 cents. He says so because these raindrops would ensure a good crop which would eventually get them a lot of money. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field or ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain very large hailstones began to fall. This truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Here, regarded, it means consider or think of in a specified way. Draped, it means adorn or cover or wrap. Hailstones, it means a pallet of hail. Resemble, it means look like, and exposing, it means to reveal. In this paragraph, on seeing everything go as expected, Lencho reflected upon the field and the flowers covered with droplets which seemed as if they were wrapped in a curtain. Unexpectedly, strong wind started blowing, leading to a hailstorm. Satirically, the writer refers to this pallet of frozen rain as new silver coins. The innocent boys became playful and went out in the rain to play and collect these hailstones which look like frozen pearls. The next paragraph, "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passed quickly." But it did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. The farmer now starts worrying and hopes that the storm gets over quickly, which is to utmost disappointment didn't. The hailstones covered the entire valley, including the house, the garden, hillside, and the cornfield. It made everything look so white that it seemed as if it was covered in salt. Now next paragraph. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. All over work for nothing. There's no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. Here, plague, it means a destructively numerous inflow or multiplication of a harmful animal infestation. Locust, it means insects which fly in a big groups and destroy crops. So in this paragraph, Lencho became stressed and disappointed as everything went against the plan. The trees had shed their leaves, corn was smashed, and the flowers had also fallen from their plants. While standing in the withered fields, he conveyed his dismay and sorrow to his sons by commenting that the effect of the storm proved to be worse than that of crop destroying insects. All their hard work had gone in vain. He felt helpless as no corn had been left and feared that they might have to starve this time. Now next paragraph. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. Don't be so upset even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. Here, solitary, it means lonely, existing alone. So in this paragraph, even after everything had gone southwards, had gone wrong, the family still had hope in their hearts of hearts. They had faith in the Almighty, they had faith in God even after nothing was left in their field. They gave each other support and recalled a saying which assures that no one ever dies of starvation. Now next paragraph. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. Here in this paragraph, conscience, it means an inner sense of right and wrong. Ox of a man, it means hard-working man. Remember this word, ox of a man, it means hard-working man. Daybreak, it means the time in the morning when daylight first appears. Here daybreak, it means morning time. So in this paragraph, Lencho spent his entire night thinking of the only option left, and that was to seek the help of God, who he had been informed has its eyes and ears everywhere. He thought of writing a letter to God, conveying his grievances, conveying his sadness. Despite spending all these years working at the farm, he still knew how to write. He started writing on the Sunday morning and thought of mailing it himself by going to the town. Now next paragraph. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crops comes, because the hailstorm. He wrote to God. On the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. Here pesos, it means the basic monetary unit of Mexico, several other Latin American countries and the Philippines. It is a currency of several Latin American countries. So in this paragraph, in his letter to God, Lencho communicated his poverty-stricken situation and mentioned that he needed 100 pesos to regenerate the crops along with surviving until they are ready to harvest. On the envelope, he wrote to God, then at the post office placed stamp on the letter and dropped it in the mailbox. Now the next paragraph. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned seriously and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter," starting up a correspondence with God. In this paragraph, amiable, it means friendly and pleasant. Correspondence, it means communication by exchanging letters with someone. So in this paragraph, a postman who was also an employee of the post office noticed Lencho's letter and showed it to the postmaster. They both felt amused, but the postmaster, fat and friendly, immediately developed a sense of seriousness. He was astounded at the amount of faith Lencho has in God and wished he had the same. Now next paragraph. So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea: answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. Here goodwill, it means friendly or helpful. Resolution, it means a firm decision to do or not to do something, and obliged, it means grateful or thankful. So in this paragraph, with good intentions, the postmaster read the letter and thought of replying to it so as to keep the writer's belief intact. It means he doesn't want to break his trust in God. But the writer expected the reply in a different way that could not be fulfilled with pen, paper and morals. The farmer had demanded for 100 pesos. He demanded 100 pesos. The postmaster, along with his colleagues and a few friends who were more than willing to donate for a good cause, collected a pool of money to help Lencho. Now next paragraph, it was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature: God. So in this paragraph, despite his best efforts, he was only able to collect an amount not more than half of what was required. He then addressed it to Lencho along with a letter which was undersigned by God. Now the next paragraph. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money, Such was his confidence, but he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made the mistake, nor could he have denied Lancho what he had requested. In this paragraph, contentment, it means satisfaction. So in this paragraph, next Sunday, Lancho came looking for the reply a bit earlier than expected. The postman handed him the letter, waiting to see him joyful and surprised, while the postmaster, feeling satisfied, overshot it from his office. On the contrary, the farmer got disheartened on seeing that the money was less than what he asked for. He asked for 100 pesos and he got only 70 pesos. His faith is still undeterred and he believed that God cannot make such a mistake. The next paragraph. Immediately Lancho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. The moment of the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much, but don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lancho. So in this paragraph, we can see that on being disappointed, Lancho started looking for ink and paper to write to God again. He wants to write letter again to God. Why? Because he demand 100 pesos and he get only 70 pesos. While writing, his eyebrows got curled out of the concentration with which he was drafting a new request. On completing, he affixed it with a stamp. As soon as he dropped it into the mailbox, the postmaster took it out to read it. Lancho complained that he had only received 70 pesos and he is really in need of the remaining amount. He doubted the integrity and honesty of the post office employees and suggested that the money should not be sent via post because he doubted that the staff at the post office must have stolen the missing amount. So at the end we can see that he doubted on post office employees that they have must stolen the missing amount. So our first chapter, A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes, is completed over here. Thank you.